Christopher Columbus, a name that echoes through the corridors of history, often conjures images of brave exploration and discovery. He is celebrated in many cultures as the man who discovered America in 1492, a feat that forever altered the course of human history. Yet, as the pages of history have turned, a more complex and troubling narrative has emerged, one that paints Columbus not merely as a daring navigator, but as a figure whose actions had devastating consequences for indigenous populations. The duality of Columbus's legacy invites us to explore the depths of his journey, questioning whether he should be regarded as a discoverer or a brutal invader. Born in Genoa, Italy in 1451, Columbus was captivated by the sea from a young age. His early life was marked by a relentless ambition to find a westward route to Asia, driven by the lucrative spice trade that captivated European merchants. After years of seeking sponsorship, he finally secured the backing of King Ferdinand and Queen Isabella of Spain. With 3 ships, the Niña, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, Columbus set sail into the unknown, fueled by dreams of glory and riches. When Columbus landed in the Bahamas, he believed he had reached the outskirts of Asia, a misconception that would haunt historical narratives for centuries. His arrival on the shores of what is now known as the Americas was met with curiosity and hospitality from the indigenous Taíno people. They offered gifts and welcomed him, eager to forge connections with these newcomers. Columbus, however, harbored a different vision. His journals reveal a man who saw the Taíno not as equals, but as potential subjects to be exploited. He described them as easy to govern and good servants, revealing an underlying attitude that would characterize his interactions with indigenous peoples throughout his voyages. As Columbus continued his exploration, he established a settlement on Hispaniola, where he and his men began to impose their will on the land and its inhabitants. The arrival of Europeans brought with it not just new technologies and ideas, but also diseases that decimated native populations who had no immunity to such illnesses. Smallpox, measles, and other foreign diseases swept through the islands, leading to a catastrophic decline in the Taíno population. Columbus's quest for gold and resources intensified, leading to the enslavement and brutal treatment of the indigenous people. He instituted a system of forced labor, demanding tribute in gold and punishing those who resisted. The brutality of his actions marked the beginning of a dark chapter in the history of the Americas. In the years that followed, Columbus's voyages would lead to further expeditions, each marked by a relentless pursuit of wealth and dominance. His interactions with indigenous populations were not merely exploratory. They were laden with violence and oppression. The arrival of Columbus and his men set off a chain reaction that would lead to the colonization of the Americas, resulting in the displacement and suffering of countless indigenous communities. The legacy of Columbus is thus intertwined with the broader narrative of European colonization, a story that is often romanticized, yet is steeped in the harsh realities of exploitation and brutality. As we reflect on Columbus's legacy, it becomes evident that the narrative of discovery is fraught with contradictions. On one hand, Columbus's voyages undeniably opened new pathways for exploration and exchange between Europe and the Americas. His journeys sparked a wave of European interest in the New World, leading to an era of exploration that reshaped global trade and cultural interactions. The Columbian Exchange, as it is known, facilitated the transfer of goods, ideas, and populations between continents, forever altering the fabric of human societies. Yet, this narrative of discovery cannot be separated from the suffering it wrought. The glorification of Columbus as a heroic figure often obscures the reality of the violence and exploitation that accompanied his voyages. The story of the Taino people, once vibrant and thriving, became one of tragedy and loss. Their culture, language, and way of life were systematically dismantled in the wake of European colonization, a fate shared by many indigenous communities across the Americas. In recent years, there has been a growing movement to re-evaluate Columbus's legacy, prompting discussions about the implications of celebrating figures who played pivotal roles in colonization. Many communities now observe Indigenous Peoples Day instead of Columbus Day, recognizing the resilience and contributions of Indigenous peoples, while acknowledging the historical injustices they faced. This shift in perspective challenges us to confront the complexities of history, urging us to move beyond simplistic narratives of discovery towards a more nuanced understanding of our past. The question of whether Columbus was a discoverer or a brutal invader does not yield a simple answer. His voyages undeniably changed the world, ushering in an era of exploration and contact that reshaped societies across the globe. However, the consequences of his actions cannot be ignored. Columbus's legacy serves as a reminder that history is often written by those in power, and the stories of the marginalized can be overshadowed by tales of conquest and discovery. As we navigate the complexities of history, it is essential to honor the voices of those who suffered in the wake of colonization. The narrative of Columbus should not be reduced to a binary of hero or villain. Rather, it should be seen as a multifaceted story that reflects the complexities of human ambition, the consequences of exploration, and the enduring resilience of indigenous cultures. In acknowledging both the achievements and the atrocities of figures like Columbus, we can strive for a more inclusive understanding of our shared history, one that recognizes the diverse experiences that have shaped our world.